Uh, Hello, Khushi.
Yeah, hello, Dr. Diksha.
Yeah, yeah. Getting my voice? Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. Should I start?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, hello everyone. This is Dr. Diksha Singh here, owner and founder of Hormonal Wings. So, we're starting. I want to introduce myself first. We're starting my work. I'm Dr. Diksha Singh. I'm specialized in OB-GYN physiotherapy and also specialized in pelvic floor rehab specialist. Pelvic floor is something which is like some secret muscle or some silent suffering. When it is comes to like pelvic floor, most of us don't know what is pelvic floor muscle or where it is located. So it is like when someone is talking about vagina, so it is like full of stigma and taboo. Ki how can someone talk about vagina so openly? So from there I started my journey. When I was in my bachelor, I just heard about this that physiotherapy in women's health. So I was like so excited to meet up with ki how come a doctor are ignoring the women's health, because it is like something so important. So I started my work from menarche to menopause in our clinic, that is Hormonal Wings. My vision, Hormonal Wings, is deal with basically women's health. Women's health is basically about your from menarche, from a girl age group 12 to 13 or 15, whenever she is getting her first period, to the menopause when she is getting over from her period. So this is the phase we are helping you. This is the link, because there is a missing link when it comes to menarche to menopause. A women don't know how she is starting and what is the disorder she is going to face and what are the modifications she has to make. So we Hormonal Wings help all the women. We are here to help you. And secondly, we are working on beside the menstrual health, we are working on pregnancy health. So we help women to prepare for pregnancy. We help you to prepare to push for your childbirth and your postpartum recovery. So that most of women feel postpartum dysfunctions, like most of depression are there, and they started hitting their body, their child. So we make up this link. We connect them how to deal with their body, how to deal with their mind. So Hormonal Wings is basically about we are making every girl confident in their own body by balancing their hormones. So someday, someone asked me, ki, Dr. Diksha, according to you, ki, what is success? So according to me, success is something na, ki, when you can balance your work life and personal life. So if I'm like full of energy and passion in my work field, and I'm also full of work and energy when I return home with my loved ones. So it is like there's a balance. I need a balance between my work life and my personal life. So if there is a balance, then I am successful according to me, and it can vary according to you and to person. So this is about Hormonal Wings. See how I started it. I started it in year 2017 when I returned back. I just leave the metro city life. I returned back to my hometown, Kanpur. I started from here because this is the something. This is the town where people don't talk about physiotherapy, where people don't talk about the women's health, because here doctors also don't take women's health so seriously. They are like, just take some medicine if you're having any pain when you are on your menstruation, or just ignore your health. Or if you are leaking, yeah, like you are leaking your urine while postpartum or during pregnancy or while menopause, so they are taking it like you are, it is so common. Yeah, it is common, but it is normal. So in Hormonal Wings, we are just making it like it is common but not normal. We are treating it. We are making a rehab part, and we are also helping your rehab part. And beside all these things, when I talk about my skill journey, what I do, like I started my career with bachelor in physiotherapy, then I done my MPT in OB-GYN, then I do my specialization, that is registered from Canada, is in palliative rehab and prenatal and postnatal fitness specialist, and also core confidence specialist. I work with women's health and also sexual dysfunction. So if I talk about what are the difficulties I face, as you know, as a woman, as a single woman, when you're running a clinic on sexual dysfunction and women's part, you are like someone surrounded by stigma and taboo, and someone like seeing you how a woman, a girl is talking about sex, vagina, and menstrual health so openly without any hesitation, without any shyness. Because I don't feel it is something I should shy about, or I think to doubt myself, because it is something now. It's a part of body, like other organ, other muscle. So I just take it like a muscle only. I'm not taking it like a shame कि I'm having vagina under my thigh, so I'm just feel myself shameful. No, it's like I'm feeling more confident when because I am having my vagina. So I'm working on that sexual part too. And all these sides, I'm also a YouTuber and a blogger. I love to write, love to study, and I am a big bookworm. And I love to study a lot. Whenever I got time, I study or I sleep. And all beside all these, I just love to eat sweets. So I'm big passionate about exercise to cover up these sweet parts. And beside all these things, I also am I'm also author of It's All About Pregnancy. This is my book. As you can see, it's all about pregnancy. This book took me 7 years to complete it, because why I wrote this book, because once there is a patient, he told me ki, I am suffering from this, but I don't know whom to contact. That's why I wrote this book, because this book contains all data about your pregnancy. As the name suggests, it's all about pregnancy. So it contains your diet part, your sleep timetable is also there, your baby breastfeeding part, how to breastfeed, what are the positions, and what are like the muscles you are using, and what are the techniques, what are the birth positions. And as in medic or as in girl, you can use these. This book is for reproductive health group, all women from 22 to 45 who wanna reproduce, who wanna have children. So they can just buy it and purchase it by Amazon. So it's all about pregnancy, and it's for organic students and for physiotherapists too, because it's containing exercise sport also. So you can help a woman with her pelvic floor muscle. And beside it, my second book is on runway, and it will be launching soon. It's like her the cover image. It's all about periods. It's my second book, and the book contain your main part about your disorder. What are the disorder as a woman got throughout her life in her menstruation, like there are like number of disorder, like there like missing period are there, or heavy flow, or low flow, or like some stumps are there, or you are having cramp, or abdominal pain is there, or Sij point pain is there. So these are like or metrorrhagia is there. So it's number of or leukorrhea, like vaginal discharge is also there. So these all are like disorder, and we have covered all disorder part as in layman language, not in medical part, because this book is not only for medical students. This is for all girls. And the best part, book is under 100 rupees only. So every girl can purchase it. And this is my gift to all girls. Being woman, love woman, educate woman, and treat woman is my motto of life. So it's all about PJs. We'll be launching soon. And that's why when I come to know about the Pandora and the theme I got, so I just love the idea to they are creating a just to try to evaluating that idea of stigma on menstrual talk and menstrual cycle, menstrual hygiene. So I just love the idea of Pandora. That's why I'm here as a speaker. And they asked me about my one of movement, which is just close to my heart. They're like two moments, not one moment. First moment when I joined the army hospital, and a guard didn't allow me because my parents are not from army background. And I just requested the guard just let me in, and I just want to give my interview to the commander. So he didn't allow me for half an hour. Then I just let him, please let me in. And after half an hour, he just allowed me. So this is the first, turning point in my life when I get into the army hospital, and also cleared my SSB at the same time. And this is the same time when when I decided I should be a medico rather than a army, because I'm best when I work in my clinical practice than anything else. And beside all these things, the second moment is when I lost my dad last year. This is the time when I completed my second book. It's all about periods. So thanks that it belongs to you. My all works belongs to him only, because whatever I'm doing today is his blessing. And this is, I think, I can't cover my whole journey when it comes to 10 to 15 minutes, but this is a short summary of my life. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diksha. And this was a great motivation for all of us young people out here. And we really hope that we are able to contribute
Yeah,
something
and
towards the society.
one more thing. Sorry, Sushi, I just
Yes,
forgot
yes,
one
ma'am.
thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
when I started my journey now as a physio and bachelor, the thing I heard mostly like no career in OB-GYN as in physio. So I was like, how come there's no career is there? Then I started searching, and no one is there to guide me. I'm a self-made
Yeah,
person as an OB-GYN. No guide for me.
that's
At that but afterward, I'm a guide of 25 students now, 25, and the number is increasing day by day. And the best part, the women and the medical students, they are following my work. So this is the biggest part we are having. And to the society, when the women comes to us, she's like, why didn't I met you before? Because we are not only treating them when they come to us, we are teaching them. We want them to educate others. We don't want every person to come in my clinic in this era. No, we want the awareness. So we are educating people.
That's very well said, and I totally agree that education is the key out here, especially like when talking about spreading awareness about such a taboo topic. And also, thank you so much for sharing your wise words and taking so much time out of your busy schedule. And we hope to read your second book soon. And
And this is the second book cover, you can see, and this is not yet launched.
would you like to share your screen?
No, I will send you the image later,
Okay, no
because
problem.
yeah, because and the main heading is on my book is period is not a taboo. It is just a period, and disorders are not forever. They are treatable.
That's amazing. That's something like we all, I think, believe in, and that's why we have come on this platform to launch a booklet, which is kind of very similar to your thought process. So thank you, and I'll share the cover of your book shortly.
Sure.
Okay. So the next speaker that we have is Dr. Sachitra Dalvi. She is an MD. She is an MD MRCOG as a gynecologist with over 2 decades of experience in development work. The focus of her work is on gender and human rights issues in women's health and human rights. She is coordinator at the Asia Safe Abortion Partnership. So, Dr. Sachitra, I'd like to give the floor to you. I believe that you have a presentation that you would like to share.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much. Yes, I do. So if you could allow me the share screen function, I could share the presentation. Thanks a lot. So just want to start by saying thank you to the Students Against COVID for the opportunity to be here with you, and also to be able to share a space with someone like Dr. Diksha Singh, who has really had such a remarkable journey and such an inspiration actually in the way that she said, as she said quite rightly, self-made person. Okay, so okay, I have the screen share now. Let me just figure that out. yeah, just wanted to share a few things. Again, not to take up too much time, but again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and share my thoughts with you. The work that I have been involved in for the last almost 20 years since I started working in the development field has been around safe abortion rights advocacy, and the work has been across Asia. So I'll talk a little bit about that, as well as my own personal journey in the process. And if you have anything to ask, of course, I'm open to answering questions. As all of you may be knowing already, a vast majority of the world's young people live in Asia, and also the world itself has more young people than it has ever had before, which is why a lot of the work that we're doing currently is quite rightly focused on young people as well as building youth leadership. And young people definitely have a right to sexual and reproductive health care that meets their needs. It's sometimes difficult to obtain the rights because of the way the conversation goes, particularly with governments and other stakeholders in the community. But definitely there is a right to sexual and reproductive health care, and I think on this forum all of us have gathered together precisely to work towards this goal. In terms of unsafe abortion, if you can see this map, unsafe abortion related deaths still continue to be among the top 5 causes of maternal mortality. And all the other causes that we are aware of, like hemorrhage, sepsis, obstructed labor, which are really, in a sense, unpredictable and may not always be avoidable. Unsafe abortion is actually a completely preventable cause of death, because you can avoid it by ensuring that everyone who needs it has access to a safe abortion. The work that we do around abortion, of course, is always located in the context of the gender and rights framework. So we can't talk about abortion or abortion stigma or barriers to accessing abortion without looking at the environment within which this exists, which usually ends up, bringing us back to the understanding of the patriarchal framework within which our lives are led, particularly those of young girls, and the stigma around sex and sexuality, which then gets added, to the stigma around abortion itself. These two images I always like to show because I think they're very symbolic of the environment we live in. This particular thing is pills to fake your virginity. These pills are available on Amazon and other online sites, which basically has a capsule which contains, some kind of a blood, which you can use to stain the bed sheets on the wedding night, which is, in a way, a subversion of the requirement to be a virgin at night, but also in a way it's a complicity, because as long as we try and say, okay, let me at least use this and figure it out, we will never actually question the whole concept of why a girl needs to be a virgin on the wedding night. So, the patriarchy follows us through every single step of our lives. This is a book which is a very interesting book, which talks about, the women in India and the pathways they follow. And we all know that this is a very common blessing. May you be the mother of 100 sons, which again means that the woman has utility only in as much as she becomes a wife and then a mother, and preferably a mother of sons. So this is the context in which the work that we are doing exists. A little bit about my own journey. So I am a gynecologist. I studied in Mumbai undergraduate as well as postgraduate, and it was many years ago now. So like almost 30 years ago. And at that time, we had no internet, there was no social media. The only way you could access anything was if there was a written word, either as a book or a journal, or if somebody, in a senior position conveyed information to you. It was not until much later, after I started practicing gynecology, that I realized that all the teaching that had been conveyed to me, the practices, the environment within which I studied, was actually a terribly patriarchal and misogynistic environment. And I managed to be there for like, 8-10 years without even knowing these words at that time, or even recognizing what made me so uncomfortable and why was it so difficult for me to, follow certain, orders that were given about things that were done. Just to give you one small example, we were actually told that if an unmarried girl comes for an abortion, not to give her anesthesia, so as to, in inverted commas, teach her a lesson. Now, this was a very disturbing thing to, figure out as a student, which is why as soon as I was able to find the language and find the ideology, as Dr. Diksha said, I would write about it, I would speak about it. I also helped co-found the Asia Safe Abortion Partnership. This is one of the articles I wrote about being a feminist gynecologist in the patriarchal world of medicine. And interestingly enough, this was picked up by someone who is a theater activist, and it is now being written up into a play. It was supposed to have been performed in many cities last year and this year, but of course, because of COVID, that has got postponed. So hopefully at some point, some of you may have a chance to see it, but you can definitely take a look at the article. So the way I look at my journey is I am actually, we do a lot of work with young people. We do a lot of mentoring because I think, to me, medical students and doctors can actually be the most powerful advocates for human rights, because we see this on a daily basis. We see the violations on a daily basis. We have the privilege and the responsibility of being a witness to these violations on a daily basis. And therefore, I think we have a moral position to speak out on behalf of these people who sometimes have no space or no voice or no understanding of what is it that they are, what rights are being violated. So I think the work being done by medical students is absolutely phenomenal. I wish we had something like this, 20, 30 years ago, when I was finding my way, literally struggling, as Dr. Diksha said, kind of self-made, my own struggle through the whole process. But I think it's amazing that, we all come together here. Just a little bit about the Asia Safe Abortion Partnership. As I said, we work with young people across the region. We have members from 23 countries across South and Southeast Asia, as well as the Southwest Asia region. And you are welcome to check out our website. We have regular youth advocacy institutes where we do orientation of young people on understanding safe abortion as a gender and rights issue. Our website has a lot of information, very similar to the booklet that you're about to be launching. This is, of course, more focused on medical abortion, unsafe abortion. The medical abortion fact sheet is currently available in 5 different languages in the region, as well as an audio version. We have this fun section called Feminist and Chill, where we review things in mass media or books like this from the gender perspective. We've also had many conversations with many of our partners across the region. As you can imagine, the issues that you are all talking about or addressing are very universal, faced by young girls and women across the globe. And in an attempt to build solidarity, we work with our young people on various campaigns. This one particular one was a theme called Speak Truth to Power, where the young people wrote out statements addressing the leaders who are actually responsible for policy programs and the law in the country, and how that is affecting young people unfairly and unequally. We do many other campaigns like this on the International Day of Action for Women's Health. And of course, as I said, we place the abortion conversation in the context of everything else, because there is no such thing as a single issue struggle, because we don't live single issue lives. Each and every one of us has multiple identities, depending on what you use to look at it, whether it's age, caste, class, education, urban, rural, Indian, some other country, etc. So we always remind ourselves that abortion is not a single issue struggle. Young people like you from across the region have been, doing some amazing work. In Bhutan, there is a very large team of active and passionate medical students who have been working with us, doing these kind of campaigns. India, there is the India Safe Abortion Youth Advocates, again, medical students like many of you, working on campaigns and workshops. This is our very enthusiastic team from Nepal and from Sri Lanka, who have been doing some remarkable work, working specifically with, helping the hearing impaired to work on a vocabulary which includes issues of sexual and reproductive health and rights, and decriminalization of adolescent sexuality. So just to end, I would like to say, quote a favorite author of mine, Arundhati Roy, who says that historically pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. And I think, to add to her quote, I would like to say that people like you who are coming together, hopefully you're going to hold the door open for us to be able to walk into this new normal that all of us are looking forward to, as being something that's going to be different from the sufferings of the past. So thank you once again for the opportunity to share here, and all the very best for your plans and activities. Thank you. This is our website for those of you who are interested. We are also very active on social media, Twitter, Facebook. We have a blog, and we're also on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much for coming on such a short notice and taking your time out from such a busy schedule. This was definitely very inspiring, especially like knowing that you come from a period where you had to fight a lot of patriarchal thoughts, and even though it's still there, I think people like you have made it easier for us to make our way through this society. So thank you so much for such inspirational work. We have a lot of people in the comment section also talking about how inspirational your work has been, and it's an amazing and a beautiful journey. So thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, and yeah, thank you. So next up, I'll just share my screen again. So the next hero that we have is the founder and president of the Period Society, Swara Patel. She is extremely passionate about international relations and global health. In the future, she intends to formulate health policies to combat global health inequality and further the reproductive rights of women. The Period Society is a non-profit that she began at the age of 16 based on her personal experiences with the menstrual taboo in the communities who struggle to access period products. The Period Society has been funded by and recognized as the first winner of Actor Impact Initiative, co-hosted by Harvard University's International Relations Council and Worldview, Jane Goodall's Roots, and Schutz Institute 3. Global Team Leader, Brown University's Eden Philin Award, the 2021 Diana Award, and the STEM for Changemaking Challenge, hosted by Ashoka Global and General Motors. So, Swara, I'll give you the floor. You can start talking.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And it was really inspiring to hear from our two previous speakers, especially as someone who's studying as a pre-med student. It was really incredible to hear from two amazing women in STEM and like in the field of sexual and reproductive health. So I'll begin by introducing myself. My name's Swara, and I'm currently a first-year student at Macaulay New York City. I study biochemistry and gender studies in the pre-medical track. And I'm mainly here to talk about the Period Society, which is a nonprofit that I began 3 years ago at the age of 16 to combat the taboo surrounding menstruation and lack of access to period products that I noticed in my own life. So just a little bit of like a behind the scenes story about how we began. So I grew up in Mumbai till I was 16, and both of my parents were healthcare professionals. And even though I had like a really good rapport with them and I could talk about almost anything, I remember when I got my first period at the age of 12, it was really difficult to talk to my dad about menstruation, even though he was a physician. And often when I kind of brought up my period cramps or anything related to my periods, my dad would get uncomfortable and he'd ask me to talk about quote unquote these girl things with my mom. And even when I got my first period, I remember just being really scared, like since I got my period late at night and I wasn't prepared for it. And my mom just handed me a pad, told me how to use it, but she didn't really explain what was going on with my body. And I remember that there was some sort of festival the next day, and my mom told me that when I'm menstruating, it kind of makes me impure. So it's better if I kind of stay away from any sort of like cultural or religious event. And that really didn't make sense to me, but I accepted what she said. And then when I was in the 10th grade, it was the first time we learned about menstruation at my school. And my school didn't take any efforts to like educate us about sexual or reproductive health. And the only reason I learned about this in the 10th grade was because it was on the portion for my board exam. So they absolutely had to cover it. And even with the limited information that they kind of provided us with, I understood the menstrual cycle as a normal biological process. And I didn't really see what was dirty or impure or shameful about it. And the entire kind of ritual impurity that was attached to menstrual blood didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I remember a lot of people in my class were giggling when my teacher talked about periods. And in general, even in school, there's always this atmosphere where whenever I got my period and I had to change my pad, there was like this long sort of walk to the bathroom. And just like every single time I had to go and pass by this corridor, I had this pad like stuffed in my pocket. And, I had to really kind of take care such that it didn't fall out, because I was worried what people like in the corridor would think. And even when we had to ask our teachers, this break to go and like use the washroom to change our menstrual products, or if we kind of had to take some time aside in PE, we'd always like fake stomach aches. So it was very difficult to kind of directly talk to your teachers about the fact that you're menstruating. And there's always this hesitation in my life about saying the word period aloud, because I'd always been conditioned to think that it was something dirty or unnatural or something that was hush hush. But just understanding menstruation as a normal biological process prompted me to begin a conversation at home. And whenever my dad kind of got uncomfortable talking about my periods, I kind of told him that, you're a physician, you understand exactly what's going on with my body, then why is there this like dissonance between what you know about menstruation and the way we kind of approach it at home? If you know that it's a normal biological process, shouldn't you just be having a healthy conversation with me about menstruation, or whenever I bring up issues with my cramps or my flow with you? And slowly and steadily, I brought up the word period at home, and I tried to kind of change my parents' attitude about menstruation, because before I went out and told people that menstruation is a normal biological process and it's nothing to be ashamed about, I felt that it was my responsibility to change the attitude at home. And it did take a couple of years, but now we've gotten to a point where I can bring up anything related to my work with the Period Society at the dinner table, and it doesn't make anyone uncomfortable, and I can say the word period without flinching. And about my motivation to begin this organization as a nonprofit, I volunteered at a pediatric oncology ward at Tata Memorial Hospital. And I used to help kids from the ages of 5 to 10 with their math and English homework. And at that point of time, I used to interact with a lot of patients from different backgrounds who had commuted from really far to Mumbai for the treatment of their children. And I remember once speaking with this lady who kind of was talking to me about some issues that she was having, especially because she traveled from this rural area in the interior of Maharashtra for her son's treatment. And she was talking about the financial burden of his treatment and how that affected her day-to-day life. And I was very shocked to learn that she had to like take a bus to commute all around the city while she was menstruating, and she didn't have access to any period products. So she used this one piece of cloth that she had every single cycle of hers, and it was just really difficult for her to commute around and juggle his treatment and just manage her periods like with that one piece of cloth. And period products aren't supposed to be a luxury, like they're a basic need. And anytime I need a pad, I usually can just reach out to like this closet in my room where I keep my pads, and it's something that I take for granted. But just to think about the fact that a lot of people have to use like these different period products which aren't even like really period products, and kind of manage them menstruation like with a piece of cloth or with grass, ash, and like all of these different period products that I learned about with my work was really shocking. So I created this nonprofit with 5 of my friends just to conduct menstrual health education sessions and talk to people about what menstruation was. So we conduct these sessions in different languages all over India through our chapter program. And we basically have videos and interactive slides and conversations where we ask people what they know about menstruation and kind of show them the biological process behind menstruation with the help of diagrams and visual aids in their local language. And we often get healthcare professionals such as obstetrician gynecologists on board to answer any questions that someone might have or to do a general health checkup. And we also distribute period products, especially eco-friendly ones, depending on the water supply and the specific needs of a community. So we distribute everything from disposable pads to menstrual cups to cloth pads to promote environmental sustainability wherever possible, with the first goal being ending period poverty. And I think there's a lot of work that we also have to do in the sort of policy surrounding access to menstrual products, because even here in the United States, where I'm currently studying, there's something called the pink tax, where a lot of essentials such as menstrual hygiene products are taxed in a luxury bracket in a lot of states, while you know, things like Viagra available like without that tax. So it is really shocking to me that menstruation is something that's considered to be a luxury and period products aren't really available to people. And there are a lot of countries like Scotland which have taken a step by making menstrual hygiene products really available to students, you know, in the school bathrooms and public toilets. And I think that's definitely a lead that the rest of the world should take when it comes to recognizing menstrual hygiene product as a basic need. And just in terms of the way forward, I think something here can begin the conversation at home and normalize menstruation within our own circles. Because even as a student, I felt that there wasn't a lot that I could do. And you know, I had to be an adult, or I had to be someone who's like qualified enough to talk about this. But it really was as simple as beginning this conversation in my home and challenging the attitude that my parents had surrounding menstruation. And if all of us kind of take the step within our own circles, then I think it can have a huge impact, and it can have a huge ripple effect. So that's just something that I'd encourage everyone to do. Begin the conversation surrounding periods in your own community, and definitely try to help out menstruators around you who don't have access to period products. I started out at home with my domestic help by getting her some period products because they were struggling to like access those. And I think that's something that all of us can try to do, and just educating someone about menstruation if they have misconceptions, or trying to make your own school a more period positive environment by getting you know, like period products and dispensers installed in your bathrooms is something that you can try to do. And I think these little steps definitely go a long way in putting a period to the stigma, and making menstruation and the conversation surrounding menstruation a normal thing as it should be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swara. I think Swara is an incredible example that your age doesn't define your limits, and that if you decide to make a change in the society, you can accomplish it. So thank you for that. And I think we all have gone through that hush hush phase, especially during school, where even like, you know, a period stain or something, you needed a friend to like cover you up or something like that. So we all have gone through that at some point in our life, and we hope that like how you have started educating so many people about menstruation, menstrual hygiene, menstrual rights. I hope that we all are able to do that. So yeah, thank you for starting the Period Society, which is a step towards the period talk. Next, I would like to give the floor to Nidhi. So Nidhi is the founder and director of the GeoLife Youth Club. Nidhi is a third-year BSc Biotech studying in Mithila College, Mumbai. Her area of interest is microbial technology and biochemistry, with her future goal being specializing in biotech entrepreneurship and agriculture technology. She founded GYC in the year 2017 aimed at providing free of cost career counseling, educational guidance, personality development, and upliftment of rural youth of India. Project Red Dot works towards ending the struggle of period poverty many women face. Their purpose is to teach people about menstrual cycle, health, and hygiene, irrespective of their gender. So, Nidhi, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And thank you for having me here and giving me this opportunity to be in the same platform with these other wonderful people, Swara, Dr. Diksha, Dr. Suchitra. I'm just awed by listening to your stories and your journeys. And it's giving me more inspiration to do something similar with my project as well. So without taking much of your time, I'd like to just start talking about my organization and what is the goal and why we've started and the project that we're concerned about, which is Project Red Dot. So right now I'm in my third year of the graduation, but when I completed my 10th standard, which was in 2017, I was looking for a lot of career counseling and guidance because I was confused about what options I have and what is the right option for me, which is why I consulted a lot of counselors and consultants. And living in a city like Bombay, I had access to all of those. But I come from a rural background. I've lived in a village for 6 years, and my family business is connected to the villages, which is why we have access to a lot of farmers directly and indirectly. And that is how I learned how difficult education is for them, and there is no push for them to continue their education and get a better skill set or learn more or find out what is the right choice for them. And that is how we started to discuss about these things, and that is when I started GYC. And I wanted to give them a platform where they can have access to consultation and counseling to know what is the best choice for them. And that is how we started in 2017. And right now in 2021, we have more than 20 different curriculums that we're teaching, one of which is menstrual hygiene and menstruation, which is why I'm on this platform talking about this project right now. So I'm going to talk about the Red Dot project only here. So the Red Dot project is all about education and why education about menstruation is important, who should be educated, which is not only women but also men, girls and boys both in schools. And since we're connected more with the rural background, and plus it's more important for them to talk about periods openly, we've started to conduct sessions for both girls and boys in different rural schools and underprivileged schools, because we've seen so many cases where when girls hit their puberty, they drop out of school, and because there's so many stigma around puberty, mainly because they don't have access to menstrual hygiene products, or because they think it's not okay to step out of the house since they're now menstruators. So there's a lot of taboo stigma around menstruation, which we wanted to break. And education is the best way to do that. And since GYC is all about education, holistic education and personality development, I think it's important to talk about menstruation. And once we talk about menstruation, the whole system, how our body works, I think boys will also be able to respect girls, and they'll be able to respect each other's reproductive systems and the whole stigma around menstruation. And even the fact that girls don't go to school when they're on their period for the 4 or 5 days that they're bleeding, to stay home because they don't have access to menstrual hygiene products, or because of whatever other stereotypes or stigma around menstruation. It was very important that we talk about it openly and break those myths and tell them that there's nothing to worry about. There is no toxic material coming out of their body, and there's nothing unhygienic about period, and they can still go and continue their schooling, which is why we started Project Red Dot. And we go around schools, we talk about period as if it's a normal natural thing, just like breathing, because it's a biological process which nobody can do anything about. It's as natural as sleeping or breathing, which this is our goal and this is what we want to establish. So along with this, another very, very important issue that we want to address is sustainability. Since every pad that we use takes about 500 years to 800 years to degrade, imagine the amount of waste that we're generating using these period, and menstruation is an endless process. It's going to go on and on and on forever. I think it's very important that when we're taking care of ourselves and our bodies, we also take care about earth and the environment. So it's important to talk about sustainable menstrual practices, like Swara mentioned, and and alternative options to non-biodegradable pads. Um, this is one reason why we should switch to an alternative. But another reason being, most of these plastic pads have microplastic elements, which are very, very harmful for the uterus and the reproductive system, which nobody really talks about. And India, as a country, does not have strict regulations on what products are or what material goes in making menstrual hygiene products. So it's important that we know what we're using, and it's important that we educate people and let them know what products they're supposed to be using, what is good for their body, what is good for the environment, and then they can make a conscious choice, which is why we have included this aspect of sustainability. And imagine, pads have been introduced very recently. Imagine, for every pad that has ever been used by any woman is still on the planet somewhere in a landfill or an ocean, and is going to be there for another 3 or 4 centuries. So imagine the amount of waste that we're creating, and imagine the amount of harmful elements are going out in the environment and harming other organisms and beings. So it's important that when we talk about menstrual hygiene, we also talk about sustainability. So this is the whole idea behind this project. So through this project, we aim at distributing menstrual hygiene products to underprivileged adolescent girls and women who are suffering from period poverty, and educate them about the same, and break the taboo around menstruation, so that girls do not have to drop out of school, and they don't even, and during their menstrual cycle, during the cycle that goes on, they don't have to stay home away from school. They can still continue their schooling. So this is what we want to talk about. And along with the donation drives, we also conduct health camps with gynecologists and other basic health related camps, so that they know what is happening to their bodies and they understand what they're going through. And this is an environment where we're trying to create positivity around menstruation with both girls and boys, and create like the period society. We want to create a step where it's okay to talk about menstruation like it's a natural thing. So yeah, I think that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. You're completely right when you say that menstrual education should be given to everyone, irrespective of their genders. And also, in today's world, sustainable menstruation has become so important, especially with the building waste that's coming. So, thank you for taking up such an incredible initiative, and we hope this goes well. And with that, the monomyth session ends. Before we begin the next session, that is Pandora's musical box, can we all just have a picture with the speakers? Um, Avantika, or if anyone could like just take a screenshot. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Deeksha, Dr. Sachitra, Nidhi, Swara. It was incredible having such people on board, and you guys have done amazing work, and thank you for sharing that with the audience out here. I'd like to go on to the next session. That's the musical Pandora's musical box. Just a sec. For those of you who have been with us from the very beginning of this fest, that is the day one of this fest, if you all did participate in the clue hunt, there we closed the Pandora's box where uh, the story, as everyone knows about Pandora, that she opened the box and there was like a lot of hello, I'm sorry, it got muted. As I was saying that if you all have been there since the day one of this journey, then you all will know that in the clue box we shut the Pandora's box, saying that like as we know that the jar contained a lot of misery and a lot of
Kushi, you're not audible. Kushi, is my voice?
hello. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, great. Sorry. So as I was saying that during Pandora's clue box, we actually shut the box, and with that we shut what flew out of the box initially. That is stereotypes, taboos on sexual health rights, stigma towards STDs, lack of sex education, myths. All of this was shut on the first day of our event, of our campaign. And today we would like to open the box again and with that signify that music has brought some hope during this pandemic. So I'd like to give I'd like to give the floor to Avantika. She is my fellow co-lead of Women's Health team. So Avantika, if you could introduce the singers for tonight.
Hi, my name is Avantika Singh, and I'm the co-lead of Women's Health Team, the Kushi. On this, so I'd like to introduce the first singer for tonight is Shayon Ghosh, and he's a final year medical student from GMERS Medical College, Sola. Shayon, over to you.
Is my video open?
Yeah,
Am I visible? Hello?
yeah, you're audible.
Am I visible?
Yeah, you're visible.
All right. So, hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Shan Ghosh, and I'm a final year medical student. And I'm glad that these great people have given me the opportunity to showcase my talent, whatever I have, in singing. So, just sit back and relax. I'll be singing Kavi Kavi Aditi. It's a beautiful
Let
song.
Your voice is, yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay, so I will be singing the song Kabhi Kabhi Aditi from Jaane Tu Ye Jaane Na. It's a very beautiful song, and I guess it fits the decor we have made. So just a few minutes, just a few seconds before I set this up. Avantika, just coordinate if you can hear the karaoke version.
Yeah, sure. Just keep the mic a little close so that you're clearly audible.
Now, is it okay? Okay, so I will play the audio. Just give me a green signal if it's perfectly audible. I'll just rewind it back.
Yep.
Is it? Okay, fine. So I cannot play guitar, but so I will take help from external source. All right, here we go. कभी कभी अदिति जिंदगी में यूं ही कोई अपना लगता है, कभी कभी अदिति वो बिछड़ जाए तो एक सपना लगता है, ऐसे में कोई कैसे अपने आंसुओं को बहने से रोके, और कैसे कोई सोच ले everything gonna be okay। कभी कभी अदिति लगे जिंदगी में रही ना खुशी और न मजा, कभी कभी लगे हर दिन हर मुश्किल और हर पल की सजा, ऐसे में कोई कैसे मुस्कुराए कैसे हंसते खुश होके, और कैसे कोई सोच ले everything's gonna be okay। सोच जरा जाने जा तुझको हम कितना चाहते हैं, रोते हम भी अगर तेरे आंखों में आंसू आते हैं, गाना तो आता नहीं है मगर फिर भी हम गाते हैं, हे अदिति मान कभी कभी सारे जहां में अंधेरा होता है, लेकिन रात के ही बाद ही तो सवेरा होता है। कभी कभी अदिति जिंदगी में यूं ही कोई अपना लगता है, कभी कभी अदिति वो बिछड़ जाए तो एक सपना लगता है, हे अदिति हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे तू जरा, नहीं तो बस थोड़ा 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 मुस्कुरा। तू खुश है तो लगे कि जहां में छाई है खुशी, सूरज निकले बादलों से और बाटे जिंदगी, सुन तो जरा मदहोश हवा तुझसे कहने लगी कि अदिति वो जो बिछड़ते हैं एक ना एक दिन फिर मिल जाते हैं, अदिति जाने तू या जाए ना फूल फिर खिल जाते हैं। कभी कभी अदिति जिंदगी में यूं ही कोई अपना लगता है, कभी कभी अदिति वो बिछड़ जाए तो एक सपना लगता है, हे अदिति हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे तू जरा, नहीं तो बस थोड़ा 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 मुस्कुरा, हे अदिति हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे तू जरा, नहीं तो बस थोड़ा 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 मुस्कुरा, हे अदिति हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे तू जरा, नहीं तो बस थोड़ा 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 मुस्कुरा, हे अदिति हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे जरा, नहीं तो बस थोड़ा 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 मुस्कुरा, हे अदिति हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे हंस दे तू जरा, नहीं तो बस थोड़ा 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 मुस्कुरा। Thank you so much, guys, for giving this opportunity. It was nice singing to you guys. Hope you liked it.
Thank
It
you.
was amazing. It was amazing. Too good.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To manage it on a
So
digital
good.
platform, I think so. It's really commendable.
Yeah, so Avantika, give me my certificates right now. Thank you so much, guys. It was great singing in front of so many inspirational people. I'm just really glad I could perform here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for actually joining in such a short notice.
Avantika, you kind of begged, so I had to. No, she's a great person. I'll really get to help you guys, and it's just great. Thank you so much.
So guys,
Thank you so much, Shayan.
I'll continue.
Yes,
So,
I'll share my screen again.
yeah. Set of the evening, Yeah, so for the next singer, we have Janvi Barot. She is a second year medical student from JMRS Medical College. Janvi.
Hi. Is my video coming on?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Well, can you just speak so that I can?
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah, perfect.
And am I visible because it's not
Yeah.
not showing myself on the screen. Okay, can you just tell me if you can hear the karaoke?
Yeah.
It's perfectly audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So hi, my name is Janvi. I'm a second year medical student at GMR Solar Civil, and although I haven't practiced a lot for this, but I'll give it my best, especially compared to the amazing performance you guys just heard. I'll be singing songs, the songs Seven Rings and Levitating, made famous by Ariana Grande and Dua Lipa, because I feel like a lot of women look up to them. They're pretty empowering. So yeah. Okay. Breakfast at Tiffany's and bottles of bubbles. Girls with tattoos are like getting in trouble. Lashes and diamonds, ATM machines. Buy myself all of my favorite things. Been through some bad, be a savage. Who would have thought it turned me to a savage? Rather be tied up than causing no strings. Write my own checks like I write what I sing. My wrist, stop watching. My neck is fluffy. Make big deposits. Where is popping? You like my hair? She thinks. Just bought it. I see it. I like it. I want it. I got 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 it. You like my hair? She thinks. Just bought it. Wearing a ring, but ain't gonna be no misses. Buy matching diamonds for 6 of my stitches. I'd rather spoil all my friends with my riches. Think retail therapy, my new addiction. Whoever said money can't solve your problems must not have had enough money to solve it. They say which one, I said nah, I want all of them. Happiness is the same price as for bottoms. My smile is beaming, my skin is gleaming. The way it shine, I know you've seen it. I bought a crib just for the closet, both his and hers. I want it, I got it. 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 You like my hair? She thinks, just got it. Send my receipts be looking like phone numbers. If it ain't money, then wrong number. Black card is my business card, and the way we setting the tone for me. I don't mean to brag, but I be like, put it in the bag, yeah. When you see them bags, they stick up like my ass, yeah. Shoot, give them so to the boot, make it all back in my loop. Give me the loot, never mind, I got the juice. Nothing but no one shoot. Look at my neck, look at my jet. Ain't got enough money to pay me respect. Ain't no budget when I wanna say. If I like it, then that's what I get. If you wanna run away with me on our galaxy and I can take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm when the music don't stop for life. Glitter in my sky, glitter in my eyes, shines the way I like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby, my sugar boo. We're levitating, the Milky Way, we're renegading. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. You, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need all night. Come on, dance with me. Yeah, so that was it. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat box.
It was really
That's
good.
it from my side. Thank you.
I completely agree to Shayan the way he said you just added sass to your voice, like
Thank you
it
so
was
much.
very evident. It was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Janvi.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Honestly, it was amazing. Thank you.
Actually, finally, like to thank both of them because it was such a short notice, and I just informed them, and they just joined in very happily. So thank you so much, Shayan and Janvi, for joining in.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
Over to you, Khushi, again. Yeah, I agree to Naushin actually. So much talent in genius at the park.
I know, right?
Yeah.
पढ़ाई नहीं होती लेकिन गाना हो जाता है.
Yeah, over to you, Khushi.
चलो, thank you guys.
So we've finally come to the most awaited part of this event, the launch of the booklet. But before we launch the booklet, I would like to call upon Adriana. She's the co-founder of Students Against COVID. Hi, Adriana. Could you just say something?
Hi, Kushi, and hi, everyone. Yeah, first of all, I'm so honored to be here. Well, because I attended this session, I got so many new knowledge from inspirational speakers, and yeah, I agree with I think the people on chats all mentioned just how amazing Sayan and Jahnavi was. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but yeah, I truly am very honored to be here, and I'm very honored to welcome all of you, our partners and beloved volunteers, to the launching of the Taberia Talk booklet, which was initiated by the Women's Health Team of Students Against COVID, or is also called as SAC. So I'm Adriana Miranda. I'm one of the co-founders and core facilitators of SAC. I'm from Indonesia, and SAC started as a hashtag on Twitter in March 2020. It was co-founded by several students and young professionals who share the same concerns about how youth, which comprises 1.2 billion of the world's population, can contribute to fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, fast forward more than 1 year later, SAC has grown to a global grassroots movement with 1,300 volunteers from 105 countries across all continents. We represent a spectrum of ages, education, background, and careers, from healthcare students to graphic designers, IT professionals, among others. This huge number shows just how invested students like our beloved Women's Health Team and young professionals are in tackling the pandemic. During this uncertain times, term I'm sure is very familiar with all of you, collaboration is more critical than ever. We are currently fighting not only the pandemic, but also waves of misinformation and many recurring problems in healthcare, one of which being the awareness towards sexual and reproductive health and rights. SAC aims to empower youth voices and foster collaborations between students and young professionals in tackling the issues that come with ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Since our establishment, our volunteers have consistently worked on campaigns that impacted many communities globally, including this Pandora campaign, for which the SAC was awarded the Consortium of Global Health and Pulitzer High Impact Award Program in April 2021. The Period Talk booklet and the Pandora campaign are two of the culminations of our spirit to support one of the basic human rights, which is the right to health and hygiene. Many women across the world are still facing stigma surrounding menstruation daily, even during the pandemic. We hope that the Period Talk booklet can help improve women's and your community's knowledge of menstrual hygiene. The booklet has been translated into several languages to reach more people across India and globally. On behalf of SAC's co-founders and core facilitators, I would like to thank the Women's Health team. Thank you, Kushi and Avantika and the rest of the team, and also the Pandora campaign team for their hard work in making this outstanding campaign possible. We are also very grateful for the relentless support given by our partners, the Clinic Case Essen, the Rotaract Club of the Caduceus, and the Medicopolitan magazine. I would like to close my remarks by leaving a noteworthy quotation from Indonesia's first president, which is Sukarno. Give me 1,000 old people and I will rip the Semeru mountain out of its roots. Give me 10 youth and I will undoubtedly change the world. The Women's Health team and the Pandora campaign have shown that when youth collaborate together, nothing is impossible, even amidst the pandemic. Stay tuned for more outstanding initiative by SAC and the Women's Health team. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Those were lovely words. And thank you for joining in. And thank you for creating such a platform where we can actually create this booklet and help in our little way towards fighting against this pandemic. And next up, I'd like to call upon Shavani Ghola, the founder of Clinic Case Essen.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much, Adriana. This was nice. It was lovely seeing you talk about Students Against COVID, and it's really commendable what this platform is doing and how it started. The journey is amazing and it's beautiful, and it depicts what in solidarity lies strength. That is our organizational motto, and using this motivation, we have founded Clinic Case Essen. And Clinic Case is an organization that believes in creating opportunities for all medical students and doctors. It is a fraternity for future doctors to learn, build on their skills, and to socialize. A community where you can rely on each other, where you can grow together. Being a medical student, being in this fraternity, sometimes it's really very scary. Sometimes you're very anxious. You don't know where are you going, where are you headed. But when you have a team together, when you have friends, colleagues who are going through the same thing and who are attending the same curriculum, it becomes easy, right? It becomes easy when you have a team together, when you have a group together. So that is what Clinic Case is all about. And we aim to bring all aspiring doctors and students together under this banner and under this venture to work together towards community healthcare and welfare. So our goal is not only to work with the existing resources and skills, but it is also to gain expertise to have a complete development of a doctor, of future doctors, how we should have a multifactorial development towards our career. Apart from this, we also believe to birth new innovations and to inspire budding medicals to bring a revolution in the current healthcare system and the medical stream. We have 4 departments. We have the academic wing, the community healthcare wing, the research wing, and the professional development wing. And we aim at doing projects and events like Pandora here so that all our aspiring doctors and students from all over the globe can avail these opportunities and have a great spectrum ahead and can have a great development, so that they can become the future leaders that our world needs right now. We need people who can inspire, who can lead, who have the people who have the power to bring together the entire community and fight against such a deadly virus and many more issues that might come in future. We have a long way to go. The virus is just the beginning. And I'm so glad that this pandemic has taught us how from all across the globe we can come together. And I love the idea of Students Against COVID as well, how it has brought so many students together that is what even Clinicase aspires to be. And we are so glad to be the organizational partners for this Pandora event. When Avantika first told me about this event, I was really happy that Avantika thought that, Clinicase could be the supporting partner in this, and we could make this a huge success, and it is indeed. So I'm really glad. I'm really proud. I'm proud of Avantika and Khushi and the SEC platform and the team Clinicase. All of you all have done amazing job. Amazing. This 3-day fest was only possible because of your time, dedication, and determination. It was a project designed by Khushi and Avantika. They've been working on this for the past 1 year. And today, here it is. Today, we are here witnessing it, come alive. So without any further ado, I think so, Khushi, you can take over and you can reveal your booklet to the entire world. We can, share the booklet. You can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for such wonderful words. And yes, we're super excited that the booklet is finally being launched.
Yes.
This calls for like drum rolls, but then again, I have to share my screen again. Just a sec.
I need those signature drum rolls today. Huh?
Yes, I am. The problem with the virtual event is that technical issues occur a lot. Okay, can everyone see the screen? So it's finally here. So we have the English copy, obviously, and its translations. Can everyone see the screen properly?
Yes, we can see. Go ahead.
Okay. Before I show the pages further, I would like to say that this booklet is accessible on SARC19.com/Pandora, and you can. There is a form known as the iPledge form if you are interested towards donating towards this cause of community distribution. We're planning to print these booklets, and Clinicase Sense is going to be our on-ground partners as of now, and we'll be distributing the booklets in the community. So if y'all are interested towards donating towards this cause, then please do check out our webpage and, of course, all our booklets. I would like to read this message for the readers. This is something that I really wanted everyone to know about. Talk to your mother, talk to your daughter, talk to your father, talk to your son, talk to your grandparents, talk to your grandchildren, talk to your family, talk to your friends. Talk to those who need to be taught. Talk to those who don't want to talk about this. Talk to your body, talk about your body. Just talk. Don't hold yourself back. Don't whisper. Normalize the period talk because it's something that every second person in this world goes through. Embrace the beauty of your body and the marvelous creation that you are. Just talk. And with that, I would like to introduce our team behind this booklet. Marina is not able to join us as of now. I would like to call upon Samantha. I believe you were there in the meet. If you could switch on your video. If all the team members behind the booklet can switch on their videos. Samantha, Aishwarya, you all have been like incredible in designing this booklet. I remember I have like pestered Aishwarya so much about like redesigning and designing this booklet again and again, and she has been incredible throughout. And Samantha has helped me so much throughout this campaign. I have troubled her till like the end of the day. She has just she's been incredible till now. Avantika, Shanmeen is our translation team co-lead. Shanmeen, are you there? I'm not too sure. Other design team members here, everyone just switch on your camera, and I'm not able to see if anyone has switched on their camera, so like someone will have to tell me.
Yeah, I think they've switched on their camera.
Aparna is also one of the women's health lead for this campaign. Pranjal, this was like our initial team, the sexual health and reproductive rights team. That's how like we had started. Tanishka, are you there? The translation team members. I'll just quickly go through this booklet. So first up, we have the basic anatomy. Who is a menstruator? What is a menstrual cycle? What is menstruation? It's given in a very straightforward way so that everyone is able to understand it. When should you visit your OBGYN? How does your exercise and diet affect your period? Knowing your period products, I think that's a very important part in any menstruator's life. Like, you should know your period products well. You should be able to decide what's best for you. We have tried to include some gender inclusive menstruation as well. What's your choices all about, pros and cons of the period products? Even though we have like a lot of choices about period products, I think in today's time, it is very important to practice sustainable menstruation. So you can always find alternatives to your normal period products, but like in the end, it's your choice. The basic idea behind this booklet is to help you make your own choice. These are some of the myths and facts that we have tried to burst out here. We've also tried to educate people about period pride, like how important it is to acknowledge this topic. And again, the final stigma and myths. The barriers during the pandemic, the reason why we started this booklet, I think part of the reason would be here. Lack of information and education. I think that was like the biggest barrier during the pandemic, with everything becoming online, and in developing countries, you don't have access to internet in a lot of places. So we're hoping that this reaches out, especially the printed copies, it reaches out to the correct people, and we're able to educate as many people as possible. That's it for the whole booklet. This is just the references and the sources part. And I would like to thank, this is the poster that we had actually put, like, there was a poster making competition that was held in the beginning. And this is a poster designed by Varun Bade. So that's it. Avantika, would you like to say something?
I'm just so out of words right now. 1 year's, what to say, this is 1 year's work. I think so. We started around this time last year with our project, and we are ending it now. So it's a total of 1 year span. And yeah, it's been a very roller coaster ride, if you agree with me, Khushi.
Definitely, definitely. Also, I'd like to call upon the team behind this campaign, all the leads behind this campaign. I don't know if everyone is there. Gauri, Aparna, Arnav.
Yeah, just
Arnav, I don't know if he joined. He should be here.
he should be like, if he's not joined, I'm just gonna call him and ask him to.
I
think
am
so he
present,
is here.
ma'am.
Oh, he's
I
there.
have present. Hi guys,
Hi.
I am present.
Then who else? Aditi, Aishwarya.
Do we have anyone from the content team over here? That was the initial team.
I don't know. Is Tanishka or Pranjal? Pranjal is here. Ishita is there, I guess.
Ishita is not on this content.
So I'd like to thank all the leads of this campaign to bear with us. I mean, I know we have like told you guys to do so many things last minute, and you all have
messaged you at any time, like day or night. We were just messaging you and sorry, and yeah, thank you for actually bearing with us right now. Anything you would like to say? Anyone from the leads from the team?
Nosheen is also there. The team behind the campaign can also please switch on their camera.
Not only the lead, everyone behind the.
Thanks to you guys actually. You did organize really well. And अगर आप हमें किसी भी टाइम मैसेज कर रहे थे तो मतलब आप भी उस टाइम काम कर. So thanks to you. You did a really great job and it was really hectic.
Like I joined this team a few months back and I'm overwhelmed by the way Avantika and Khushi worked for this campaign. They were like always available and they were always working. I couldn't find a time when they're not working for the campaign. So like it was very motivating working with them and I learned a lot. Especially Khushi, I was in touch with her constantly and she always had an idea or the another, and like she was texting me in the night, she was sending voice notes. So I'm really inspired by the way she worked for the campaign.
Khushi, I'm gonna
thank you, Aparna. I have pestered Aparna a lot for the captions. I was like, okay, you have to make this caption, that caption. I'm terrible at making captions, so like just do this right now. I need it right now.
You are forgetting me, Khushi. I made the design.
Yes,
you only
of
wrote
course,
the captions.
of course. I know. I think I have pestered everyone at any time. Like, I don't know. Avantika is gonna kill me once she comes to Mumbai. That's for sure.
Oh no, I remember those frustrating calls Arnav and me and you used to have, those calls. I'll miss your voice notes, especially. I'm definitely gonna miss that. So yeah, thank you everyone actually bearing with us, Thank you so much for joining in and helping us throughout this event actually. Without you guys, it wouldn't have been possible for us.
Yes, definitely. It was a teamwork and we did a great job, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'd like to ask a question to you. Say your 1 year journey. Anything like related to this booklet.
Me?
Yeah, you.
No, you were supposed to talk about it.
So she is the shy girl. I'll just talk about this. So 1 year back, I'll just start from the day we decided. At first, to inform you guys, Khushi was not the lead with me. I don't know if Aishwarya is on this call. Aishwarya Manoharan, I don't know. She's there, Khushi?
Let me check.
Oh no, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So Aishwarya Manoharan, she was from US, and we were the leads for this thing. We two came up with the idea, but due to our time zone and due to her busy schedule, she actually backed out. And I straight away went to Khushi, and I was like, Khushi, I just need you as the lead. I don't want anything. I was so sure that I would be very comfortable working with her. Then we started our work. We got done with the booklet. And then it came to how to launch the booklet. We had so many ideas. We actually changed our ideas. We used to think, okay, we'll do this booklet, launch this booklet in this way, and then we used to change our idea. And yeah, so throughout 1 year span, we were just planning the book launch, designing and everything. And this 1 year made me and Kushi come close a lot. We actually, our bond grew. And Kushi's voice notes, Kushi's, those calls, those frustrating calls, everything in this 1 year's time for this booklet, for the launch was a roller coaster ride. Then came the event, and our exams were like, I had my duties. I don't know, she has her exams, I'm not going to comment on the exams, but yeah, her exams, her exams, she would be like, Avantika, my exams are coming, please do this. And then I don't know what used to happen. And then she's there all the time working 24 into 7. She'll be replying. Yeah, actually, it was a great roller coaster ride. And finally we did it, Kushi. I'll cry.
Yeah, we did it. Avantika is like the person, like, if you tell her, like, do this, she's like, don't worry, I'll do it. Like, I'll do it. I'll make sure I'll get the speakers for this event. I'll get the speakers for this workshop. I'll do it. Don't worry, leave it to me. And I was just like, okay. I was like always so, like, tensed about all these situations. And Avantika was like, chill, man, I'll do this. So thank you, Avantika, for that.
Yeah, I'll say that Kushi used to have those small panic attacks. Like, Avantika, we should cancel this event. We should postpone this event. I'll cancel everything right now. And I used to be that person, okay, Kushi, calm down, we'll do it. I'll get the speakers, I'll get everyone on board, relax. And we did it, Kushi.
Yeah, we did it. Okay, so I think we should, can we take a picture and, like, we'll close the session. I think everyone will be...
Shivani to speak something about, like, her, how she came up to, collaborate with us and all. Yeah, we can have her, and then we can have the group picture.
I think so. I've shared the thing time and again during the live, during each and every event that I'm so glad that Avantika came up to me and, like, she told me that, Shivani, let's do this. Would Clinicus do this? I was like, yes, definitely. Why not? It's your event. Your event is my event. So let's do this. Let's execute it. Your dream project is our dream project, and that's how we collaborated with Students Against COVID. And we're so happy to, like, be allies together and collaborative partners. And I am really proud. I'm so proud. When she was sharing her screen and she was showing the booklet, I could see Avantika's expression. She was all like, oh my God, it's out there. She was sitting like this, and it was so cute. I've taken a picture also, I think so. And you can see it on their face. You can see it on Kushi's and Avantika's face that they are not just posting about their hard work. They have actually gone through tremendous fluctuations, some highs, some lows, some setbacks, and here they are today. It is amazing. It's so inspiring that once you're determined to do something, I think so you should never give up. And the people who have joined us today, the allies, the students, Clinicus members, everyone over here, I think so we have so much to learn from Kushi and Avantika and the other leads, the content team, the design team. I was there in each and every group, and I could see that there were some issues wherein, like, the team was not working properly, but still they didn't give up. They were right there. Arna was there. Everyone that I know. If I'm forgetting anyone, please don't mind. But I'm so proud. I'm proud of all of you all, and you guys have done it. It's yours, and we'll make sure. Clinicus will make sure, in collaboration with Students Against COVID, we'll help you. We'll be the on-ground partners, and we'll make sure that this booklet serves its purpose. It's out there in the world. We'll make sure that we distribute it to all the NGOs, the health camps that we conduct, and we'll make it huge. This is just the beginning of another journey, another project, not the end. So I think so we should tighten our belts. Now we should focus more on distributing part, that the booklet should reach the crowd out there and everyone and serve its purpose. So just once again, I would like to sum it up. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations, Avantika, Khushi, and your entire team. And great job. Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I love to thank Adriana. Thank you, TAC, actually, for providing us a platform to, form a booklet, to launch a booklet, actually to read this booklet. Thank you so much.
Yes, definitely, Adriana. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining in right now as well.
Yeah, thank you everyone once again. I'm so honored to be here to witness the hard work, the culmination of your hard work this past year. Well, I'm lost for words to describe just how proud I am of the booklet. It was so comprehensive and amazing. Good job, guys.
We can have the group picture. Actually, everyone just switch on your cameras.
One guy, switch on your cameras. I can see no one has. Only select a few people have switched on their cameras. Such a proud moment. We should see smiling faces. Nosheen, I'll start calling out names. Pranita, Manasvi.
Who's clicking the picture, by the way?
Yeah, I was just asking. I was going to ask. I was clicking the picture. We're just smiling like fools.
I mean, we're just like smiling all over.
Please just say.
Yeah. Not too sure it's a good picture, but I've taken it. Thank you so much, and thank you to all, the whole team behind this campaign. Thank you so much, guys. I'll just share my screen for the last 5 minutes, and we can like wrap up. Just a sec. So thank you, and I would like to thank Clinic Sense for being our organizing partners, and of course Rotaract Club of Caduceus and the SRHR unit of RC Caduceus and Medicopolitan Magazine for being our promotional partners. Thank you so much, and please share the webpage to as many people as possible. We would like to amplify the reach of the Period Talk booklet to those who need it. So please use the hashtag Period Talk on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms to amplify our cause and connect with each other. So that's it. Thank you for so much who have stayed till the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we can end the meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.